Hello, and welcome to the Camera and Sling Hub Setup video tutorial. We're gonna go 2 for 1 in this video, so let's dive right in. The camera and Sling Hub, as well as the tripod stand, are in the back of the finance room. Let's look at setting up the Sling Hub first. We're going to set that up on the wall by the drum set and the pulpit. The Sling Hub and all the associated cables are in the front pocket of the camera bag. Here's the Sling Hub and its battery pack, which you'll want to connect immediately after taking out. As soon as you connect the battery pack, the Sling Hub will power on and you'll see the power light start to flash. Inside the pocket, we'll also find the Sling Hub's power supply and the HDMI USB adapter cables. At this point, we're ready to make our first connections. On the back of the Sling Hub, you'll find the mini HDMI port and the AC power port. Connect the mini HDMI cable and power supply like so. The other end of the HDMI goes to the laptop, which may or may not be set up at this point. If the laptop is already out, plug the HDMI USB adapter into the USB 3.0 port on the right side of the laptop. If you've watched the computer setup tutorial, go ahead and make the rest of the connections to the computer while you're waiting for the Sling Hub power light to turn solid blue. Here's a quick recap. Now let's look at turning on the GoPros and their Sling CameraLinks. First, we're gonna need a ladder though. We've got 2 pairs of cameras and CameraLinks to turn on. One close to the organ and one mid-right side. They're both tucked in the molding. If the camera isn't on already, simply press the power button on the bottom left of the camera. You'll know the camera's on when you see the default screen come on. Next, press and hold the CameraLinks power button for 5 seconds. You'll see it start to flash and then eventually turn solid white. The camera screen should then turn to what I call the slave screen. Once you see that, you can head back down the ladder. If the CameraLink power light starts flashing red, then you know you've got a problem. Luckily, we've already covered that. Here's a recap of that last section. Now we're going to talk about setting up the main camera. We're going to open up the other side of the camera bag after we've laid it down. In there we'll find the main camera and its power supply. In the smaller pocket we've got the CameraLink, its power supply, and the HDMI to micro HDMI adapter cable. But before any of that, we're going to set up the tripod. The tripod is going to end up on the desk adjacent to the mixing board, but it may be easier to level the tripod on the ground first. You can use the built-in leveler for this task. Make sure the vertical movement lock is tight before placing the camera on the tripod. We don't want any accidents. The camera is going to slide into place, and you're going to lock it in place with the knob on the right side. The red bead on the left side is the release button for when you want to take the camera off. Don't forget to take the lens cap off the camera. Next, slide the CameraLink onto the top of the camera and lock it in place. Make sure the power and HDMI ports are facing towards the back of the camera. The micro HDMI side of this cable is going to go in this port right here. And our power cable is going to plug in right underneath that. On the back of the camera, we're going to open up this bottom flap. There we're going to plug in our power supply and the HDMI side of the cable that's connected to our CameraLink. I recommend draping the cables to the right so they don't obstruct the view of the preview screen. Now we need some power. Down by your feet, you'll find a brown extension cable. Go ahead and plug everything into that. If you still don't have power, you just need to turn on this power strip. Now you're ready to turn on the camera. What I did not show was turning on the CameraLink, but it's just like the others. You'll hold the power button down for 5 seconds. You will want to turn it on before placing the tripod on the desk though. Don't worry, I'm about to show you how to do all of this in real time, starting from the very beginning with leveling the tripod. We're leveling our tripod to avoid having a slanted shot. This first method is using the tripod's built-in leveler. First, find the tripod leg with the writing on it and extend that leg up to the bold lettering. Place that leg on the ground, and while looking at the built-in level, extend the legs one by one while keeping the bubble in the middle. Now I'm checking the leveler every time I extend another leg, trying my best to keep the bubble in the center of the red circle.
You make it sound so easy.
Make sure you take the lens cap off before you place the camera on the tripod. Slide it on the track and make sure to lock everything in. You'll want to open the preview screen before you place the CameraLink on the camera, otherwise it gets in the way. Slightly open the tightener on the CameraLink and slide it onto the slot at the top front of the camera. With the connection ports facing the back of the camera, tighten the CameraLink in place and turn it on. Next, you'll connect the micro HDMI end of your cable adapter to the CameraLink and the regular HDMI end to the back right of the camera. Then connect the CameraLink power supply to the bottom port on the CameraLink. Lastly, connect the camera's power supply to the camera and make sure you connect both parts of the cable to each other. Now you're ready to lift the camera and tripod up on the desk. Grab the tripod handle and the camera handle at the same time. You break it, you buy it. Place the two front legs all the way forward so that they're touching the front barrier of the desk. You may have to clear some space. At your feet, you'll find the brown extension cable to connect the CameraLink and camera to power. I like to wrap it around the base of the tripod so everything stays in place. It also takes the pressure off the cables. Make sure that the power strip down by the mixing board is turned on, otherwise you won't get any power from the brown cable. What I didn't show was turning on the CameraLink in advance. It's best to do this before the camera is on the desk and the button is hard to reach. Once the tripod is in place and you notice your shot isn't square, aim your preview screen so that the outer edge is very close to a vertical line in the sanctuary. While holding the tripod handle, adjust one of the front legs so that the edge of the preview screen is flush with whatever vertical line you chose. You might need to do both legs. I find I get the best results when I do this with vertical edges on both the left and right sides of the stage. The end result should be all the vertical lines in the preview screen are vertical no matter where you point the camera. Last, we're going to talk about setting up the iPhone as a camera. The iPhone is on the right side of the pulpit. It should be on and charged already. Press the home button at the bottom of the phone to enter the password. The password is 1357. Then you'll just need to destroy the annoying pop-up saying to enter my Apple ID. There are a lot. Just keep hitting not now. Next, click on the photo and video tile towards the middle of the screen. Then you'll click on the Sling Capture app. Normally that would be it, but let me show you what happens when the phone doesn't automatically connect to the Sling Hub. If you see this error message, it's because the phone isn't on the Sling Hub's Wi-Fi. What you do is exit the Sling Capture app by hitting the home button. Scroll left to the first screen page and click on Settings. After clicking on Settings, go into the Wi-Fi. If the Wi-Fi doesn't say Sling Studio, click on it and then select the Sling Wi-Fi network. After selecting the Sling Studio Wi-Fi network, exit Settings and go back to the Sling Capture app. Once you open it, it should be good to go. This camera can go anywhere really, but I like to use it for a shot of the audience, in which case we want to avoid having the TV monitor in the shot. From the front right side of the podium, I aim the camera so that the top edge of the TV monitor lines up with the bottom edge of the camera frame. This slight glimmer is actually the top of the TV monitor. Once that's out of view, I point the camera roughly at the front entrance. Lastly, touch the screen anywhere that there isn't a lot of glare, and the camera will automatically adjust the exposure. You'll see an orange square appear. Here's a recap of that last section, followed by some generalized tips. Leave yourself lots of extra time for setup, especially if you're doing it for the first time or doing it with other people that are doing it for the first time. You might as well bring the laptop out when you bring the tripod and the camera out. Feel free to make any of the connections you know how to make. If I'm there though, I use my own laptop. Please, 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 please put everything back where you got it. Unless I'm there, in which case you can just leave everything as it is. You don't gotta whip the ladder back out after service to turn the GoPro and those CameraLinks off. They'll turn themselves off. You can download the Sling Capture app on your own phone if you don't want to use mine, or if it's acting up. If that camera's not working out, just forget it. Make sure to check in with me and any of the other volunteers to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Well, that about wraps this video up. I want to thank you for volunteering to help with setup during Sunday service. If you have any questions about what you just watched, feel free to email me at milmaxi@yahoo.com. When it's your turn to be on setup duty, make sure to review with this video before it's your turn. Make sure you check out the other video tutorials for a more complete understanding and to see if there's another way that you might prefer to help out the tech ministry on Sunday morning. Once again, thank you very much for volunteering and take care.